they're loaning out. It only takes a couple, I read it like yesterday.
Come on in.
A couple hours. Well, it's called graphic. Graphic novel.
It's the technical term.
Did you read it yet?
No.
Graphic novel.
Is that another name for another?
Graphic novel, I think when I was a kid, they called it comic.
What I've done a few times is just
No, the difference is how old you were when
even
you
outside
read
the
it.
higher.
The thing is the same.
Now it's a graphic novel, and I was a kid, it was a comic book.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have ordered. I went online to, but I got it here faster. Oh, yeah, right. You know, if the public library.
Comic artist.
Okay.
He's a purist.
Hebra, friends, good morning. It's good to see everyone. Thank you so much for coming out on a cold morning outside, a cold morning inside. We'll keep each other cozy and hopefully the heat will kick in. First of all, just so everyone knows, in case you didn't notice, I set up a video camera, and this is an experiment. In this digital age, there's a lot of opportunity for using the internet for adult education purposes. Of course, we know there's a lot of junk on the internet, but we can also add enlightened discussions to the internet as well, and I'm hoping to add Torah study, things like that, to our website. So we have the video going. So
You'll have to consult with the webmaster.
right, I will. So, we'll have to talk about those links to YouTube and all that. So I hope you don't mind, and I think it's already playing. This is what my goal is for this class. So I want to say a word of introduction. There are a number of us around the table here who have been participating in our new adult B'nai Mitzvah class. This is the second time that Shaarey Tikvah has taken this on. We have a very nice group this year of people planning to undergo the adult Bar Bat Mitzvah program. A number of people took a course with Cantor Paler in the fall on Torah reading, which is a part of it. This is the next component, aside from individual preparations, and there were any number of topics that I could have chosen to cover, but I thought the most relevant, at least at this point, is to talk for a few sessions about Jewish prayer. Prayer, after all, is the occasion that brings us together on a regular basis here in synagogue. And yet, many of us feel in greater or lesser degree disconnected from the prayer. There could be any host of reasons: language barriers, philosophical barriers, and yet we all come together on a somewhat regular basis to pray together. This room that we're sitting in is called our Beit Tefillah, which means a house of prayer. Now, we all know a synagogue serves multiple functions. A synagogue is first and foremost a Beit Tefillah. At the same time, a synagogue is a Beit Midrash, a house of study. And a synagogue is also known in Hebrew as a Beit Knesset, a place of gathering, where we come together as a Jewish community. It's a community center. And at least two of those components come together in one of the great Jewish jokes. So let me share this joke with you. So there's a guy who, please come on in, a chair. There's a guy who goes to synagogue very religiously every day, a pious person, and his last name is Garfinkel. He goes to Minyan every day, puts on tefillin, he davens, he does all the traditional davening. Very fervent, pious Jew. And at the synagogue's daily Minyan, there's another guy. He happens to be an atheist, but he goes to minyan every day. He goes to synagogue every single day, doesn't miss a single service. This guy, let's call him Schwartz. So Schwartz goes to minyan every single day. And his children kind of call him on it. They know he doesn't believe any of this stuff, but they ask him, Dad, you know, your friend Garfinkel is really religious. I understand why he goes to synagogue every day. He's very pious. He believes in this stuff. Why do you go? So Schwartz says to his kids, well, Garfinkel goes to shul to daven, to pray. I go to talk to Garfinkel. So we see in that little joke, every joke has a serious side to it. The serious side or the message is that a synagogue can serve multiple purposes. It can serve as a gathering place for us to come together as a people. It also serves as a place to pray and a place to encounter the divine. And I think it's not an accident that the two come together, because we encounter the divine by encountering one another. We are all created in the image of God, B'Tselem Elohim, as Genesis says. We're all created in the image of God. And therefore, we create a space where people come together in a Jewish space, and within that space, we create time and space to come together with God. So during this series, I hope to explore several questions. What is Jewish prayer? Where do we pray? When do we pray? Who prays? And how do we pray? These are all fundamental questions. And we'll look at traditional Jewish texts, traditional prayers from the prayer book. And it's my hope that over the course of the next few weeks we'll become more familiar with what I might call the geography of the prayer book, the layout of the prayer book, how it's laid out. It's not just a bunch of stuff thrown in with page numbers and they're randomly thrown together. There actually is an order to it. In fact, the word for prayer book is sidur. There's another word that we have in Hebrew associated with a particular holiday that relates to sidur, and that word is seder. And what holiday is the seder? Passover. What does the word seder mean?
Order.
Okay, order. And at the beginning of a Passover seder, we go through the order of the seder. We have a song for that, and then we go through item by item. Sidur is from the same root, and it also means order. It's an ordering of our prayers. So it's a guidebook, and it's my hope that, of course, in the next few weeks we'll become more familiar with the order of our prayers, so that while I don't hope to, I certainly don't hope to put myself out of a job. I mean, I'm happy to help people by calling out page numbers from the Bima so that we're all together. But at the same time, it's also my goal for individuals to feel competent in picking up the prayer book and knowing where we are, and not having to wait for the next page announcement. So that's part of my goal in this period. Another word of introduction. On the table, we have different books that I've selected. The main book that you see, there's both a soft cover and a hardcover edition. This is an annotated version of our Sidur that we use in synagogue on Saturday morning. This is our new Sidur Sim Shalom that we've been using for the last couple of years at Shaarey Tikvah. This one here is the one that you find in the pews. This book here we have available in the back of the sanctuary. It's both in soft cover and hard cover. And this is an annotated volume of Sidur Sim Shalom. That is, the page numbers are exactly the same. If I say page 150 on the Bima, you can turn in this book to the very same page and follow along with the congregation. But what this volume does is it has commentary in the margins that explain the prayers and give you some sense of history and deeper meaning. Often this edition takes little phrases and bit by bit explains what they mean. Sometimes they come from biblical sources, and it will tell you its context there.